All right. Hey, YouTube, I'm Lucky, and it's time for the Trials Meta Report. This is where we go over the data, the analytics of last weekend's trials, the weapons that were the most commonly used, and there's definitely some surprising weapons out there. And this last weekend was the first introduction to a separate solo queue playlist, something we've never seen in the history of trials before. Bungie's definitely being a bit bold, a bit adventurous. Let me know if you got your first ever flawless just this last weekend. Because of that solo queue playlist, so many people came to my Twitch chat. Were like, hey, look, I finally got my first flawless. I'm super excited about it, and I'm super happy for you all. Seriously, I'm happy you all got to touch the lighthouse. That is awesome. So let's go ahead and cover the data here. The top 10 weapons were the Chaperone. Takes the #1 spot. No surprises there from my personal experience playing trials that weekend. On Cauldron, I felt like every time I opened a door, there was a Chaperone facing me, and I got absolutely clapped by it so many times. I can't even describe to you the number of times I'm either walking in a door or close to the door, and some Chaperone ape just absolutely destroys me. I personally don't use the Chaperone because it's a little bit more of a controller weapon. With the aim assist on it, you tend to hit a lot more headshots with this weapon. You can slide by a doorway, it grabs onto their character a little bit more easily, a little bit more forgiving. So if you are on controller, though, if you are on console or if you're on PC and you use a controller, definitely use the Chaperone. This is going to get you flawless for sure. It's going to get you a lot of kills, right? It's a very strong weapon. I'm a big believer in using the meta. Obviously, that's why I make this series. You know, if you really want to go flawless, use the meta. And if you can go flawless really easily, don't use the meta. And that's awesome, right? Imagine if you go flawless and you've got rocking 2 blue sidearms. You know, you're a badass if you can do that, right? Most people can't, though. Most people got to use the meta. And the Chaperone is the meta weapon from last weekend on Cauldron. The second most used weapon, the Vex Mythoclast. No surprises there. This thing absolutely melts, and Bungie's already talked about how they're going to be nerfing it. They haven't talked about nerfing the Chaperone, though. We'll see. Time will tell. But the Vex is definitely getting a nerf at some point in time, and we'll see how strong it is afterwards. The Palindrome Adept was the #3 most used weapon. Definitely cool to see the Adept weapons getting some serious love, and the Palindrome is so good. If you haven't been using this thing is a beast. This is such a strong weapon. And obviously, it pairs really well with the Chaperone being in the kinetic slot, Palindrome in the energy slot. That's why we see these two weapons so high up there, because everyone that's out there rocking a Chaperone is rocking a Palindrome with it, seemingly, right? #4 is the main ingredient. That's Xur's main ingredient. Has almost 2 million kills, which is pretty crazy to think of how much influence Xur has in the game. Before Xur brought that main ingredient was nowhere near the top 10. So bringing God rolls and making them easily accessible for everyone equals those weapons that are very unpopular becoming popular. Make sure to pay attention to that, Bungie. And if you want to make another weapon that's rarely used, another archetype popular, give Xur the God roll, right? And then people will be using this thing. Also, we got the main ingredient along with the Vex there. And then next up after that, we'll have the Messenger. Now, the Messenger, I'm surprised to see this so high up there. Honestly, Cauldron's kind of a small map. There's a few lanes you could pull this off. But overall, Cauldron's kind of a small map. And the Messenger clapped and got in the top 5. So clearly people love that Messenger. Not too surprised with how well the weapon performs. Obviously, everyone using that has Desperado on it. If you have a role that doesn't have Desperado on it, make sure you get out there and get to farming and get one that does. Kill Clip is awesome on this weapon. Don't get me wrong, Kill Clip is great, but Desperado is way better. Next up, we have Felwinter's Lie. The Shotgun Apes apparently can't let go of this weapon. It does have amazingly good one-hit kill potential, but I have not used this thing in a long time, and I was like a Felwinter's Lie main. The handling is just atrocious. If you're out there using this thing, how are you able to handle that slow, sluggish, like swap speed, aim down sight speed? Everything about it is just so painful. I personally can only use shotguns to have at least moderate, like decent handling now, after these recent changes and recent nerfs to quick draw especially. After that, we have the Fractithist. Don't even get me started with this weapon, right? How many times have I turned in? How many focused Umbrals have I turned in order to get this God roll? Still can't get it. #7 weapon right there. The Fractithist. Obviously, a lot of people out there using their quick draw opening shot roll. The #8 weapon is the Ace of Spades. Again, no surprises there, although the Ace was a lot higher in previous weekends. So apparently the Ace is slipping out of the top 10 a little bit. I don't know what's going on, but the Ace is amazing and definitely a strong weapon to use. And #8 overall for that reason. Crimson, a little bit more of a controller weapon. #9 slips in there, very strong. And the Riz Walker kinetic shotgun. Looks like a lot of people using these kinetic shotguns, probably pairing these well with the Vex Mythoclast. So those are probably Vex paired with Fractithist, and Vex paired with Riz Walker is probably the most used combination with that Vex, and that's why we see those weapons in the top 10 getting quite a few kills. So that's wrap for this last weekend. Let me know what weapons you used if you got your first flawless, whether it was in the solo queue playlist or whether it was in the team playlist. Let me know. The solo queue playlist seemed to be a pretty big success, and like I mentioned before, we read the TWAB together in the previous video. It seems like Bungie is going to be working with this in the future, which is cool overall. I think if more people play Trials, more people are enjoying Trials because of the solo queue playlist, that's a win for everyone. You know, all we need to do is make sure we keep Trials at a healthy player base, doing well and thriving, right? That's what we want. Trials, we want Trials to thrive, we want the game to thrive. And so overall, I'm a fan for it, even though I personally am not going in the solo queue playlist. I'm doing Trials carries, right? I'm in the team playlist trying to help people. So it does lower my population. My queue times got a bit crazy, but you know what? I'll allow it. Like, I think it's okay. Like, it doesn't affect me so much that I feel miserable playing Trials. So if you're having fun in solo queue, I'm having fun in the team stuff. It's a win-win for everyone, right? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. And if you want to stay up to date on all things Destiny 2, smash the like button and subscribe here with notifications on. See you in the next one. Later.